So finding your nice, comfortable seat, wherever you are. So today's class, I'm going to focus on reducing Vata. Where I am, it's cold and windy. And I know it's colder where you are. And I don't know if it's really windy, but it is really cold and windy here. So today we're going to try to reduce our Vata, that ether air, those two elements that come together, right? So cold and windy and mobile. All right, so a nice comfortable seat. And then bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga. And with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. Every class, every practice, ask yourself, what do I need today for self-transformation? Yoga is a pathway to self-transformation. Form that thought into a positive sentence as if it were already happening. Your sankalpa, your sacred vow, and repeating it to yourself 3 times. And then just letting that thought drift from your mind down into your heart space, and we'll bring it back at the end of class. Let's chant one Om. I have on the removal of excess sound, so you won't hear much of my Om. So wherever you are, please join me in an Om. Om. Using an inhaled breath, fluttering your eyes open. Good. And then just interlacing the fingers and really stretch the arms out, right at elbow height. Stretch out for a moment. Good. And then bring your arms over to the left side. Just bring them over to the left and really pull the elbows in. So let's see if your knuckles can come into your shoulder. Right, and then press them out again. And then bend the elbows and pull them into the other side. See if you can get the knuckles into your shoulder. And then push out again. And then let's just release the hands and bring them behind us and interlace there and squeeze and open. Good. And then just taking your head up and down, a yes and a no. So first our yes. Nice and slowly. Just keeping your hands interlaced behind you. And then coming into neutral and then no. We're still keeping our hands interlaced behind us. A real slow no. One more to either side. And then come back into the center. Release your hands. Just take a nice gentle twist. So remember, we inhale to twist as we lift and twist. And exhale, return. So inhaling, lifting and twisting. And exhale, return. One more time. Inhale, lift and twist. And just stay for a moment. Bring your chin over your sternum. So your chin is not a part of the twist yet. Let me see you do that. Yeah, good. So really lift on your inhale. Really feel yourself lifting. Exhale and ground down. And then your next inhale, taking your chin out over your left shoulder. Nice and gentle. Exhale, grounding down through the sit bones. Your next inhale, arch the chin up and take it over your right shoulder. Just looking down. Good. One more inhale. And then your exhale, just release the twist. Nice and slow. And just notice the difference from side to side. Notice how it feels on one side. Notice the compression on one side, the squeezing. Okay, let's lift and twist as we're inhaling over to the right side now. Good. And bring your chin back. Just keep it over your sternum. And then exhale back to neutral. Let's inhale, lift and twist. And exhale back to neutral. Inhale, lift and twist. Exhale back to neutral. And this time we'll stay. Inhale, lift and twist. Try to make sure your chin stays right over your breastbone, right over your sternum. And then inhale, lift again, and take your chin out over your right shoulder. Exhale, ground down through your sit bones. Inhale, lifting the chin toward the ceiling. Take it over your left shoulder. Good, nice, long. Just take your gaze down toward the floor. Then on your next exhale, we'll release back into the center. Good. And then just letting our torso rotate. If you could imagine that the pelvic basket and the top are like a little doll that comes apart at the legs. And so we're just going around. Good. And then let's go in the opposite direction. Great. Okay, one more, and then sitting up nice and tall. Good. And then lean back on your sit bones for just a moment. Bring your legs right in front of you. Just bringing the legs right in front of you. Squeeze your knees together for just a moment. Good. And then let's take the hands behind the knees for just a moment. Really insert them so you can really feel the tendons of the hamstrings. Roll your shoulders back and down. And just lift the legs slowly. Just lift the legs slowly. Once you get the leg lifted, flex the foot and point the toe. And then flex the foot and point the toe. One more time. Flex the foot and point toe. Good. And now just the knee. So toe is pointed. We're going to just let the toe touch gently and come right back to neutral. Toe touch gently and come right back to neutral. Toe touch gently. Come right back to neutral and then flex the foot. Just really flex it again. And then lower all the way down to the floor. Good. And now with our left leg, so bringing it up parallel to the floor. Good. Point the toe, flex, point, and flex, point, and flex, and point, and flex. Good. And then this time point the toe, and again, just with the knee, the only action that the knee likes to do, flexing and extending. Good. So we're not going all the way up, we're just going to parallel, and then lower. And one more. And there, flex the foot, flex it firmly, and then lower it slowly to the ground. Good. And then let's take the soles of the feet toward one another. Sitting up nice and tall for a moment. Maybe hold on to your shins. Make sure you're on top of your sit bones. Good. Excellent. So just holding on for a moment. Find that nice tall spot. And then bring yourself forward just a little bit until your body says, oh, that's as far as I'm going forward. And then head over. So Hannah was ahead of us. We're doing this right on our sit bone. So sit bone toward your tailbone, toward your sit bone, towards your pubic bone. So much reduced circle. Good. So when you come to the back, pull your belly back to the spine. And as you come forward, keep the belly pulled in, but just notice the difference. So really pull it back when you come back. Excellent place to exhale. And then let's go in the opposite direction. Right on top of your sit bones. Right. And then one last one. Just make it nice and slow, really slow. So you feel everything on your sit bones. Pull the belly to the spine. Good. And then coming upright for just a moment. Let's just work with our toes for just a moment. Just pull the toes apart. Pull all the toes apart. Good. And then try to just take your little toes together. You can do it with your hands too, because they like to copy your hands. So your little fingers together, little toes together. And then second fingers, second toes, middle finger, middle toe, index finger, second toe, and thumbs with your big toes. Good. And then peel them apart one time. Peel apart just the one, just the thumbs, just the big toe, index toe, index finger, middle toe, middle finger, third toe, fourth toe, and then fifth toe. Good. And then just little with your, you can do it with your wrist and these little tiny circles here. You're going to feel how that really affects the outside of the ankle. And then go in the opposite direction, just little bitty circles. Good. And then bring the knees together. Extend them out for just a moment in Dandasana. Flex the feet towards you, toes headed towards you. Heel is super important. The heels stay on the ground. Heels are on the ground, even though us hyperextenders could peel those little boogers right off. You're not going to do that. Okay, so heels are firmly on the ground. Good. And then just draw them in a little bit, just a little tiny bit, and then press them out. So draw them in. Heels are separate. Heels are not touching. Your big toe knuckles can touch if you'd like, but the heels are not touching. So we have no rotation. The knees are headed straight to the ceiling. Good. Last time, bring them up. Good, sitting up nice and tall, nice and tall. Good. So just feeling the muscles on your legs, just wrap around the bones for a moment. Really noticing that wrapping around the bones. Good. And now we're going to come over onto all fours. Good. So you want your wrist right underneath your shoulders and your hands, and okay, and you want your knees falling right out of your hip joint. And I know it sounds silly sometimes when we think about this, but look, if you can see yourself on camera, just see if you're back a little or forward a little and not just right out of the joint. Just let yourself see. Same with your wrist. Your hands are in front of you completely, in front of your shoulders, because your wrists are below the shoulders, your hands. And then really big fingers. See if you can make an L with your index finger and your a lot of space between each finger, and then press into the ball of the index finger and spread the weight throughout the fingers, not just dumping into the wrist. Okay, let's curl the toes under for just a moment. You can gaze at the floor and then stretch the toes out. Point the toes. Curl them under, dorsal flexion, and stretch them out, plantar flexion. One more time, curl them under and then stretch them out. Okay, great. So before we start our cat pose, I want you to clean the inside of a peanut butter jar. Just really cleaning it. Don't go outside of the jar. Sometimes we'll have a tendency to want to drop shoulders or hips out to the side. Nope, you're staying right in the jar. And don't forget the neck of the jar right at the top before you open the lid, and then go in the opposite direction. Good. And then come back into neutral. Press firmly into your hands. And then make sure that your shoulders stay stable. So pretend that your shoulders and your hips are the Golden Gate Bridge and they're holding up your spine, because that's kind of what's happening, okay? So gazing at the floor to begin. Let's curl our toes under and exhale and draw the belly of the spine and arch toward the ceiling. And then inhale, come back in the opposite direction, point your toes. So lengthen your breath as much as you can and follow your breath with your positions. So Vata-balancing, cat pose. Inhaling and exhaling, find your rhythm. Don't drop your shoulders. Your shoulder blades stay firm on the back. You can lengthen the breath a little as you go, lengthening the time between your two arches. One more full arch. And then come into neutral. Just find your neutral curve with your lumbar and thoracic curve. And then let's come up onto our knees for a moment and just give our wrist a little break as we're starting to spread that throughout. Moving your fingers, wrist circles, other direction, and then some starburst, just flicking. Okay, we're going to go back down again. Take your hips towards your heels for a moment. So take your hips, we're not going to go there yet. Just take your hips towards your heels and then reach your arms out and resettle. Good. And then we're going to reach back with the left leg, curl the toes under, and really press through the heel. So you feel the calf engage, you feel everything engage. So we're going to do this in a couple of ways. Initially, you're just pressing here with the foot on the floor. Feel what you feel in the body. And while you're here, your right foot can be laid out. It can also be curled under, whichever gives you the most support on this three-legged thing, okay? And then lifting the leg just a little so the toes stay toward the floor. Good. Excellent. Excellent. Just pressing through the heel. Pull your belly into your spine. And then lower. Press again through the heel and release. Good. And now with the right leg, press back. Really press into the heel. Everything else is just supporting you. And decide how you want your left foot laid out or curled under. And then lift the leg just a little. Really keep pressing through the heel. Good. Breathing, belly to spine. And then release. Good. So let's take one cat. Curl the toes under. Exhale, pull the belly in, spine toward the ceiling. And then lay the feet out and opposite arch, spine toward the floor. And then come back into neutral. Good. So once again, we're going to take our left leg back, curl the toes under. Good. And then lift the leg just a little. And then bend the knee and take the heel just in toward you. wherever it is. Perfect. Doesn't have to go so far in. Just take it in as much as you want. And then make a circle as if your knee could draw on the wall behind you. And then the opposite direction. Just a nice circle with your knee. This is my bad hip, so my hip's not, can't stay up very far, but you can imagine. And then press back. Good. And then go back, like lean back and take your leg way back. And then slowly come back and put the foot back and leg. Good. Okay. And now let's reach back with the right leg. Reaching back. Excellent. Good. And then lift just that little bit initially. So you're really engaging. And your hamstrings are holding on tightly, right? And then we're going to take them out of the equation by bending the knee. So we bend the knee. And then we're going to make little circles. The wall behind you. And then the opposite direction. Good. And then extend out the leg, place it down, and then just reach the leg back. Just until it needs to stay comfortable. And then come back into neutral and replace the leg. Good. Okay. And one more cat pose. Arch toward the ceiling. Curl the toes under and get really round. Look back at your belly button. And then opposite direction. And then come back into neutral. Good. And then let's clean again the inside of that peanut butter jar. And then let's press back. Our toes are curled under, and so we're going to press back toward our heels with our hips. So come back and then back into. Good. So sitting up nice and tall with your hips. So ankles are supporting you. Good. So place your hands for just a moment right there at the hip. You can put your thumbs there or whatever you want. Then you're going to come up nice and slowly. Don't thrust forward, just in neutral. And then you're going to go back. And just noticing the tendons of the muscles of your quadriceps. And then coming up again. Nice and slowly. And then back again. Good. And once more, coming up nice and slowly. Good. Excellent. And then for just a moment, we're going to take our hands forward and extend out the right leg. So just the right leg forward into a lunge. And just coming up. And knee right over your ankle. The knee is right over your ankle. Good. So keeping that position for just a moment. Lean forward. So a nice long line of energy from your back knee, and then bring it in a little and back a little. So you're going to go no more than an inch. So your knee is never going to go past your foot, but it's just going right over your ankle without much weight, because we've got the other leg supporting us and our hips are headed back. Just that little back and forth. Good. And then stay stable right where your knee is over your ankle. Great. And then press up and just notice the back bend that we are adding. And the arms coming up nice and slowly. Take them back toward you, back toward the wall. Good. And then very gently, you're going to bring your hands to your heart and sit back toward your leg. Just sit back toward it. You're not going to go on it, toward it. And then hands to the floor or a block. And bring the knee back. Okay. Good. So let's get a couple, if you have blocks, let's get them there in case we need them, want them on the other side. Okay. So again, placing your hands right at that hip joint. You can really feel that those tendons of your quads, and then headed back and up, not thrusting forward, just coming into neutral, and back and up. One more time, back and up. Good. And so now you can also just do it from here, just take your leg forward. But I like to put myself down and bring it forward more with more support. Okay? So wherever you are, you're forming that right angle with your front leg. Good. And then let's lean forward initially. Good. So we're just removing the back basically. Okay. And then you're just going to go that little bit back and forth, but never going past your foot. You're just letting the ankle go back and forth with a little bit of weight, but not your full body weight. Do one more. Back, forth and back, back and forth, and then right over. Stack it right on top so you can really feel the strength there. Press away. So now we're going to add that back bend and just reaching your arms up and back into crescent pose. Version of Devajasana flag pose. Good. And then we're going to bring the hands to the heart and gently, very, very gently, begin to take our hips, just something toward our heels. It's not going to touch. And then coming back up a little and replace the leg. Good. And back one more time. And then taking your hips towards your heels, just having a nice seat for a moment. Roll your shoulders a few times, opposite direction. Good. And then just see how you would feel about lowering your feet for a minute, just with that little bit of pressure, just for a moment. Hips, sit bones to heels. If it doesn't feel good, come right back where you are and enjoy it right on your heels. But if you can take it for a moment, Vajrasana. Excellent. Good, just sitting nice and tall. And then place your hands again right there at the tendons and coming up nice and slowly. And then I'm just going to walk around so I can see you. Good. Okay. So knees are hip distance apart. So my knees are just, remember they cantilever, so they kind of come like that. So as if we're in Tadasana. Good. And let's start, I'm going to start with my right leg because that's my good leg. Babaji usually started on the left, but he's forgiving. Well, this is my left, so I'm lucky. But I can't really start with this one. Okay, so just find yourself with that same right angle. Okay. This is our kneeling warrior pose. So just arms floating up. Let's take them all the way up initially. Bring the palms together so you're in supination, and then open, 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 open. And then just the forearms are pronating, and then gazing out over your fingertips. So really feeling your pelvic floor lift, your belly lift, and your shoulders melting down the back. Just breathing. Good. And then release the arms for just a moment. Let's straighten the leg. Toes are toward the ceiling initially. Toes are toward the ceiling. Good. And then arms coming back up again in supination, so palms are touching. Good. And we're just going to close the gate and open the gate. And close the gate nice and slowly. And open the gate. And one last time. Close the gate. Stay for a breath. And close the gate. Good. So bend the knee, hands to the heart, and then release the knee back down. Good. And then let's just let the arms go for a moment. And let's get the left leg. Good. An external rotation, but your belly and everything stays toward me. So wherever that is. Good. And then let's take the arms up overhead, supination, palms are touching. And then lower, shoulders nice and soft. Good. And then flip. Beautiful. And then gently gazing out over your fingers. Find your breath. Let your breath be nice and even. It's in the chest because your pelvic floor is lifted, your belly is lifted. So the breath is in your chest. Often I call it sports bra breath, right in that area. Good. And then let's straighten the leg. Flex the feet, flex the foot, it's toward the ceiling. Let's flip the palms and take the arms up again in supination. Good. So reaching up out of your pelvic basket. Take a nice inhale and lift. And exhale, let's close the gate. And open the gate. Really flex your left foot along the floor. Close the gate. And open the gate. Close the gate. Good. And open the gate. One more. Close the gate. And open the gate. Reach up out of your pelvic basket. Let your palms touch. Bring the hands to the heart as you bring the leg back. And then slowly just release the leg, release your arms, and then we're going to go again. You decide you want to curl your toes under or you want to go down to your heels with your toes out, the sliding. Good. So either the supported Vajrasana or just into Vajrasana. Excellent. Good. Just breathing for a moment. See how you're feeling the lift. And so I want to just for those of you who who care about this sort of thing, when we the seat of Vata is the colon, and so the Muladhara chakra is also there, and so that's pressing in. So a way to stimulate Muladhara chakra, if you ever want to try. So we're sitting like our options were this or this, but if you want, you can take your heels together, and then that puts pressure at the Muladhara chakra, and that's very relaxing to Vata. Little bit of pressure, and it can also be painful for the feet. Don't feel like you have to do it. Now you know about it. You're welcome to try it. Good, nice and tall. And then we're going to come up one more time. Excellent. I'm going to go again sideways on my mat. Okay, we're going to start again right at our on our table pose, Chatushpadasana, four-legged pose. Good. Excellent. So just finding yourself in this pose and be there for a moment and just notice where you have action in your body and where you're relaxing in your body. Really feel yourself ground down through the legs, the feet, and the hands. Then we're going to come back onto our forearms. So the elbows are coming down. And then you're going to gently curl the chin in toward the chest and then gaze forward. So a version of cat for just for the cervical spine. Curling and gazing forward. Your hips aren't moving, curling and gazing forward. And then let's walk our elbows out. We're going to come down into Sphinx pose. So walk your elbows out so you can lower your legs and your hips all the way down into Sphinx. Good. So just finding that equilibrium. Make sure your feet are fully on the floor, little toe side especially. Your heels are toward the ceiling, not toward one another now. Just a neutral leg. Good. Press into the forearm and the hands. Really feel yourself supported. And maybe for a moment, and pull your belly in toward your spine. And then maybe just let your belly go and let your shoulders go and feel how that is not the pose. So again, press into your hands and your forearms, pull your belly in toward your spine. Press your tops of the feet into the floor. You'll feel the knees and the thighs lift. So very active and very grounding. And then we're going to have a curious Sphinx. You're going to reach out with your right hand and look over your left shoulder towards your heel. And then come back into neutral. And then reach out with your left arm, look over your right shoulder, back towards your heel. And then come back into neutral. 2 more times, either side. Coming down, look out. Coming back. Remember to keep the belly pulled in toward the spine. And one last round. Good. And then fully into Sphinx and really feel the belly pulling in toward the spine. Really feeling the belly coming in. And then for just a moment, curl your toes under. Really just feeling that through your legs. And then stretch them out, point the toe. Good. So one more time, just curling the toes under, really pressing into the feet. Good. And then point the toe and stretch the legs out. Belly to spine. Good. So we're I want to save enough space today for a little pranayama, a little more than 2 minutes. So press into your forearms, pull your belly into your spine, then wing your elbows out and come down nice and slowly. Your forehead will touch. Reach your arms back beside you. Relax your legs. Your heels can rock in and out. Reach your hands down towards your feet and then relax your shoulders. And then turn on either cheek. This is Advasan. It's a Shavasana on your belly. Just gently pouring into the floor. This can feel so much more protective to someone than Shavasana. So just relaxing. We'll be here for about 2 or 3 minutes. letting your shoulders melt, your legs and hips melt, relaxing your face. One more minute. Let things go. And then we're going to slowly bring ourselves back into energy. So placing your forehead or chin on the floor, dragging your arms and hands up, hands in front, right about by your ears, just right about by your ears. Press your toes and feet into the floor. Feel your legs engage again. And then just beginning to look forward. Good. And then taking one hand right beside your chest, just roll over into embryo pose. Just curl yourself up, nice and secure. Just rolling over. And then press into that hand that's on the floor and continue to push yourself up nice and slowly. And because today is about balancing Vata, and one of Vata's properties is cold, we want to make sure that you're warm for the sitting part right now while we do a little bit of breath practice and a short meditation. So I'm putting a pillow underneath me. I'm going to support my legs so that they don't talk to me during the practice. I'm going to support both legs. They don't, just to make sure that they're nice and soft and not talking to me as I sit. And then I'm going to place a blanket over me so that I don't get cold. Good. Excellent. So getting ourselves prepared is so important, just so we don't have our physical body yelling to us when we're trying to work into the subtle body and those subtle energies. Okay. So let's come into a couple of, well, we'll do a few belly breaths. So just put your hand on your belly Exhale, feel yourself move your muscles back to the spine as you exhale the breath out, and then let the belly go and inhale. And then exhale, use the muscles, press it back, and then let the belly go to inhale. 2 more. Good. And then this next time, press the belly back and then inhale into the chest. So the belly stays stable, chest is moving. And then the lungs recoil and the breath leaves. You can make a little tug, belly to spine. Keep it there and inhale into the chest. Just a chest breath. And now we're going to do a full yogic breath. So exhale, belly to spine. Relax the belly to start there. And then inhale into the chest. Back, front, side, side. Everything into the chest region in a slow, smooth, gentle, soft exhalation. Pull the belly back a little and then let the belly go. Start the breath there. Draw that same breath up into the chest. Slight pause and a slow, soft, gentle exhalation. So just a couple more yogic breaths. And then letting your breath fall back into its natural rhythm, slow and soft, uncontrolled. Just a few moments. Just noticing how you feel. What thoughts are in your mind. And then we're going to move right into Nadi Shodha. And that's going to be our pranayama practice. It uses the full yogic breath. So preparing your right hand in Vishnu Mudra. If your arm gets tired, do a round with just your mind and let your arm rest. But just tucking in the index and the middle finger, or if that's uncomfortable, arthritis or something, just pressing those 2 fingers at the third eye. The important thing is your thumb is for your right nostril, your ring finger is for your left nostril, and your elbow is comfortable, your shoulder is comfortable, okay? So I'm going to walk us through the first 2 rounds, and then I'm going to stop. And you're going to continue on at your own pace for about 4 minutes, okay? So exhaling the breath out, belly to spine. Closing off the right nostril, inhale left, belly, and then chest. At the top of the inhale, you'll switch fingers, take your time. And then exhale out the rest, right nostril. Slight pause when you get to the bottom, and then inhaling right, creating that horseshoe pattern. And at the top of the inhale, switch fingers and exhale. That makes one round. I'll continue on with one more. Bottom of the exhale, a little tug to the spine, and then inhale, let the belly go. Bring the breath up into the chest until the inhale is full. Slight pause, switch fingers, and exhale right. Nice and slow. Bottom of the exhale, just a slight pause to realize you're inhaling right. Belly and then chest. Top of the inhale, again, you'll switch fingers and exhale left. Round two. Babaji said, this breath is so soft and subtle, a feather in front of your nose wouldn't move. So just keeping that in mind. Letting the round that you're on be your last round. And then sitting and just noticing the effects of the practice. We're sliding right into our meditation. So bringing your object of concentration into your mind. It can be the word Om. It can be the light of the sun, the light of the moon. Just bringing in an object of concentration that you can stay with if possible. When the mind wanders, as it will do, bring it back gently, kindly, lovingly to your object of concentration. The breath is soft and shallow and just enough to sustain. your object of concentration. And just noticing how you feel. Body, breath, mind. Just noticing. Gently bringing the hands into the heart. Anjali Mudra. Relaxing into your seat, feeling grounded. Any merit we may have earned this morning in our practice of yoga, we lift that up to the welfare of all sentient beings. Remembering your intention and bringing it into your mind space and repeating it again 3 times as if it were already manifested. And then any other prayers and petitions for someone or something, bring that into your mind. And then letting these thoughts symbolically drift from our mind down into our heart space. Hold them dear. And then from the heart space into the palms of the hands, and just lift them up and let them go off into the universe. Just let go. It's back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste.